you're here to find some underappreciated shows or maybe hear me praise a few old favorites, you've come to the right place. This is Restless in Peace, and today we're spotlighting BOFURI. I'm Fennec, and I've been an anime fan for almost a decade, and I've watched hundreds of shows. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with friends. If you haven't seen BOFURI, spoilers ahead. BOFURI, or as it's known by its full name, BOFURI, I Don't Want to Get Hurt, So I'll Max Out Defense, is a VR isekai anime. Our main character is Maple. Maple isn't really much of a gamer, but she has this friend Sally who convinces her to get a VR dive console and play an MMO with her. But for the first few days, Sally can't really play, so Maple is left to traverse on her own. And during character creation, she chooses a tank class, the Great Shielder, because, like as we said before, she's afraid of getting hurt. She doesn't want to get hurt. So she also puts everything into Vitality, all her stats, all her skill points, everything into Vitality. That's the main defense stat in this game, and she just maxes it out. Now, what originally put her onto the Great Shielder is this. For each class, there's like a little description on the start, and the Great Shielder had like, if you become defensive enough, you can take 0 damage. Now, Maple, being new to video games, she doesn't really understand how to play at first, so she kind of ends up accidentally abusing the fuck out of the system by playing in ways that the devs never really intended the game to be played. Like, for example, like, okay, there's this early game boss. Well, it's not really an early game boss. It's more like somewhere between early and mid game. And she gets a recommendation from a couple of players to go farm in that player's dungeon. Now they think to themselves, okay, she's probably gonna get a party and go in there, but she doesn't really know how to do that, so she kind of just goes in by herself and fumbles around the dungeon and accidentally reaches the boss without actually like doing too much fighting. And once she's in there, like, since she's maxed out defense so aggressively, the boss doesn't actually deal physical damage to her, so it starts using its poison-based attacks, which definitely do damage her. And once she starts taking damage, you remember those 2 players that told her to go grind in the dungeon? Well, one of them is also a Great Shielder, and being that Maple is a new player, Great Shielder, he felt obliged to give her to half of his potions just to let her get a pretty good start. And Maple, once the poison attack starts, she kind of just chugs potions. She after a while of playing against the boss with the poison attack, she almost dies, and she gets like this little notification where she got poison resistance weak. So she gets an idea and she starts chugging potions, and the more she's in the poison, her poison resistance increases. And I have no idea how many fucking potions did this guy give her, but she had enough, like just enough potions to actually get to poison immunity, which is absurd. And like, you end up in this situation where Maple can't really deal any damage to the boss because she has no damaging stats at all. She she put everything into Vitality, so she doesn't really do damage. And the boss can't do physical damage, can't do poison damage, doesn't really have anything else, so they kind of just stand there until Maple starts eating him. And, she just bites him until he dies, essentially. And she gets, like... And being that that's a really weird way to get the boss, she gets also a really weird skill called Devour, which is broken as fuck. As well as, this game has, like, really unique one-of-a-kind items that you get for either A, clearing certain quests or dungeons first, or in unique ways. So she ends up getting one of those item sets, and it's fucking broken. Like every time her armor sets or shield breaks, they regenerate immediately and stronger, meaning that they give her more defense, more vitality. And the Devour skill basically means that anything the shield touches gets one hit KO'd. This is, by the way, so absurdly broken that there's a bit later, there's a tournament, an event that Maple goes into, and there's this point where she kind of just uses Devour on hundreds of players one after another, and kind of just one hits KOs everyone. No one can deal damage here because of her vitality, and what she ends up doing is kind of just paralyzing everyone with one of her abilities, Paralyzing Shot, which is an AoE paralyze, which is broken in and of itself. She got that from also from the armor set, I believe, if I remember correctly. And she then uses another ability she got from eating the poison Hydra, which just spews poison around. So there's a point where an army of people attacks her, and she just paralyzes everyone after they try to deal damage to her and deal 0 damage. Then she puts out a cloud of poison that slowly kills everyone, and the people that's near her, she kind of just touches them with the shield and they die. This was so broken. By the way, it was incredibly broken, and she did not actually get first place in that event. She got third somehow. I don't know how she did not get first, but fine. And this was so broken that the devs actually had to nerf her, like, immediately after the tournament, and gave Devour, like, limited it to, like, 10 uses per day, or something like that. And it's just absurd, like, but that's not exactly where the appeal of the anime is. It is, but it's not. Like, you see, by playing very unconventionally, she accidentally uncovers all kinds of secret one-of-a-kind quests and broken skill combinations that, you know, were never meant to be discovered, at least by the same person. Okay? Like, this... the game devs actually kind of need to rebalance this game a bit, you know, I'm not gonna talk about game balance in an anime right now. Let's not get into that. Point is, Maple does a lot of crazy shit, and the joke is that she never really gets that what she does is abnormal. She thinks she's playing properly, she's playing normally, and shit happens. And it's really funny when you see an army of players doing their best to take her down, and she kind of just doesn't take damage and obliterates them. But I think this anime really shines in group viewings. Like, I watched the first few episodes with a friend of mine, and we laughed our asses off joking around about how absurd Maple just was, and that was a lot of fun. Maple is really just fun to see. Like, at some point, the joke just transforms into how absurd she can fucking get. Like, just watch. Like, at some point, she basically becomes a mecha kaiju movie in and of herself. Like, she is absurd. And it's a lot of fun. It's fun to watch. Like, this show doesn't have any profound themes, or it's not gonna make you think really hard or something like that. It's not gonna get you to cry or any of that bullshit. It's just it's a trashy isekai anime that's, instead of being disgusting because it's the same thing you've seen 20,000 times, it's actually funny and fun. And it's not a masterpiece, it will never be a masterpiece, but it's it's fun to watch. And if you don't watch a show for enjoyment, like if you're not enjoying something, a show that you're watching, like why are you watching it? Like you have to get some kind of enjoyment from it. And this is fun. This is a fun show. That's all I kind of have to say about this. It's fun. Finally, BOFURI is not gonna be on anyone's top 10 list, but it's a fun watch, especially with friends, and I recommend you watch it if you haven't. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with friends.